Hello everyone, Zellerant here, and it has been announced what the next Destined banner will be for Sword of Convallaria. And now that we have finally gotten Terror to release, the unit that I was most anticipating and the must pull, I would think, of all units in the game at this point, even the ones that are currently upcoming, nothing has power crept him yet, and he is the best of the best when it comes to the support. Now that we are past that point, I feel like we're now getting to that part where you can kind of be more flexible. Most people, especially if you started from the beginning, should have your teams kind of set at this point. And so now it's looking at just getting units to kind of fill out your teams and what you're missing within them. And that means I actually think Destined banners can start to kind of have more value than I would say in the past. It's just going to really depend on the units on it and units that you have missed because you had to skip, like some of the big ones like August, Sophia, Coco, all them types of units. So we're going to take a kind of look at this one. Now this one has Lilywil and Nurgle on it. Of these two, Lilywil is definitely the better of the group. She has a lot of capabilities. She is one that I believe she was never on a limited banner, not a limited, but a debut banner. Same thing with Nurgle, neither one of them, so you had to pull her either from losing a 50-50 or getting her on a Destined banner. Now, the previous one that she was on, I believe it was her and Nono Will, I believe. Either that or her and Momo. I can't remember. That banner was significantly better than this one. Nurgle, to me, is not worth it at all, and with that, just with him not being that good, this is, to me, a very easy one to skip. I do like Lilywil, but there are plenty of other units that have the capabilities that she has. And so I could not, unless you want or you like both of these characters, I would definitely not pull on this one, especially with some of the units we have coming up being really good as well. I feel like we're at a point, though, where there is no big must pulls, but there are definitely some good ones coming up. And so when we kind of take a look at these units here, now, right now on the CN website here, it does have them in the order they released in CN, at least at the top at this point. And so when we look at some of the future units and why you might want to still be skipping these Destined banners, unless it has one of those top tier ones, is there is quite a few good that I could say you might want to pick up in the future. The biggest one I think coming up that's going to be the most useful to pick up of all of the next, I'd say probably the next 5 in terms of most likely, is going to be the alt Sophia. She's going to be another support, not as good as, say, Terror, or I would even say as good as Coco, but has a lot of capabilities within her own kit. And because most people probably pulled alternate Raiwa, just because, one, we're getting her signature weapon for free. Alternate Sophia actually works really well with her and being able to keep her alive and get her to get herself out of trouble, because alternate Raiwa is not as tanky, and we're kind of throwing her out there. Alternate Sophia has the capabilities to get her to safety and keep her alive. So I think she is going to probably be the next best pickup of the rest of the group. A lot of the other ones, like Tristan, I forget her, I think Lila or Lily, easier skips there. Panama is easier skips. Now, I mean, I'd say you might want to pick up one or so of them, but so of this next group, yeah, you have easier skips, but I say alternate Sophia, you have, I forget how to say his name. I think it's like, it's not translating it at this point. Let me see if I can get it to translate here. This guy is also, to me, going to be like the next big damage dealer if you're wanting to go over a damage dealer. If you want another one, Convallaria, I don't know what his name actually is going to be on the English side, but he is a big one. And I believe he's Sophia's father in the story. And then I haven't gotten into all the kits yet on the whole mage group yet. But from just quick glances, I think they're actually going to be some of the easier skips in the group, unless you like the character specifically. And big thing with that is we do have some other really good looking units coming up. We have finally whatever his name is, Lufia, or what, I can never remember the names now in the story. But you always had him. You could play him in the story for a little bit, so we got a little taste of his kit. He's going to be coming up. I think he's going to be a fun pickup just because I liked him from the story. And we have, and you can't see her here, but alternate Inanna is going to be coming out, and she's going to be a great pickup as well. And so there's still units that I say are going to be great pickups, and I do plan to make another priority list in the future here. I need to get through actually looking at all these characters' kits in depth. and I need to continue where I left off on my looks at all the characters. I believe I was on her, so I will be doing a video on her next, and I want to try and actually just knock them out really quick. I actually am getting some time freed up to actually start going over the kits again more quickly, as Girls Frontline now's kind of got to that point where I'm at the end game. I maxed my level, and so I don't have to make as many videos on that now at this point, so I can get back onto Sword of Convallaria, start catching up on these units while I'm waiting for the next banners for Girls Frontline, Honkai Star Rail, and Zen the Sun Zero. So I'll go over Chia next, try and push through these next few units, and then I'll make a priority list on what you should be looking at in terms of pulls for the future. Whether it's going to be potential Destined banners we could get in the future, based on what CN had. Because there are some Destined banners I think that will be very pullable at this point in the future, just because at this point, especially if you're a new player, there are a lot of great units that you may have not have or may have skipped. You may not have Inanna yet. If you don't have Inanna, she's going to be an amazing pickup on a Destined banner. And if she's paired with like a Coco or an August or a Gloria, if you don't got Gloria, there's still tons of units, because I keep thinking at it from a perspective of players that started from the very beginning, but I also need to start thinking of, now that we're 5 months into the game, we have newer players coming in that may not have these units, so Destiny banners are becoming more and more valuable as old good units are getting put on them, especially when you see like the top tier ones. And so the priorities are going to kind of shift because of that, especially looking at future units, because they haven't had like heavy power creep that I have seen in this game. There are great units, they all have their value and their uses, and it's going to be unique to the different modifiers we see in the events, but none of them like just straight up power creep anybody that I have seen at this point. They all are still quite unique in what they're capable of doing. And so that priority list is not going to be that much different than it has been in terms of looking at old units. There's nobody that I'd say that you just completely skip on the old ones. You still have I mean, some of them got moved down that I've seen on tier lists. Like Barrel's no longer considered S tier because there's people that can just outperform her, but nobody still does what she does completely. Even in the mage group, they all have their own uniqueness to them. And then we have some other DPSs that are quite unique. And I haven't got into all these newer kits over here yet, so I don't know what they do yet. So maybe there are some power creep in there yet, but I have to go kind of go through them to see where they are. And then you have units that are very similar, like you have Tristan that's very similar to August, but she can do a lot more damage than him, but she's not a breaker. Instead, she is a destroyer, and she's still slightly different, but she can't sustain a battle as long as he can, but she can do that initial damage a lot quicker. And so that's the kind of differences you're seeing. But we'll kind of go more in depth to that with my next priority list on the units when they come up. But I will be going over, starting with Chia. So I might try and knock out 2 or 3 of them this week, because I feel like I'm getting more time on my hands. And so I definitely think I can push through a few more to try and get all the way caught up at this point. But yeah, that's pretty much it. I mean, this Destined banner is to me an easy skip, and just kind of wait to see when we get actually a Destined banner with 2 really good units on it, because there's plenty of them now in the standard pool, so I could very well see a really good Destined banner coming up in the near future. But that's pretty much it. I am still needing to do the new story with the Crimson Knights, or the Night Crimson, and I plan to try and stream that. I may try and do that this weekend. Now I'm going to try and do multiple streams this weekend, so because I still need to do the Honkai Star Rail 3.0 story, the new Zen the Zone Zero story, and the Night Crimson story. So, and my work's pretty busy, so I don't know if I will be able to be on as much this weekend as I would like, because I still got a lot of work I need to do. But I do plan to stream that story alongside Zen the Zone Zero and Honkai Star Rail. Maybe it'll be like an all Saturday type thing. We'll just kind of have to see. But yeah, that is pretty much it. If you like my content, if you could like, comment, and subscribe, it really helps. And thanks for watching.